remember seeing that in the theater.
Yeah.
The Battleship Potemkin, with the buggy down the stairs.
I remember watching that movie and then going to film school, and I was at SMU, then watching Battleship Potemkin. Oh man, that's that scene from Untouchables.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh. I was like, oh, now I get it.
It's backwards.
So yeah. That's funny. All right, so I'll basically just introduce myself. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll just start rambling. And Spider's already recording, so even our random conversation here is already a part of the podcast.
That's the best intro.
Yeah, exactly. Battleship Potemkin. So my name is Tony Armour. I am the Dallas Film Commissioner. Welcome to the Dallas Film Podcast, and we've got some great guests today from the Dallas International Film Festival. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, I am James Faust, the Artistic Director for the Dallas International Film Festival and Dallas Film Society.
I'm Amber Ekleberry. I am the Senior Programmer for Dallas Film Everything?
Yes, everything.
All things film with the Dallas International Film Festival, Film Society, yada. Awesome. Well, good. So right off the bat, I'm just going to jump into, you guys have an event coming up, a short film festival that's not the main festival, which of course takes place end of April every year, but sort of like a little second mini festival that's coming up. Tell me about this.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been going on for 18 years, and we have a short section of the film festival, and it's always been very very popular, and we love short films. And during the last festival, when we were preparing for it, we wanted to do something else, and we've always wanted to do another event. It used to be an event where we'd do an art of film, where we'd bring somebody out and have this whole fundraiser and everything. But this seems a little bit more populous, and we thought about a family festival or a shorts festival, and we leaned into the shorts film festival. So DIFF Shorts, the inaugural DIFF Shorts, will be August 23rd through the 25th. And I usually program most of the feature films and all of the some of the international stuff. Amber, our senior programmer, is the lead on the shorts, so she's been doing the heavy lifting on this brand new, amazing, I think first in Dallas at least, shorts film festival.
That's awesome. And you said 23rd to 25th?
August 23rd to 25th. Am I getting those dates right?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 days. It's short.
It's short. Very good. And where's it taking place?
Angelica Film Center, Dallas.
Angelica Film Center. Cool.
Yeah.
So for the shorts that you have selected from this, have you chosen these from the festival that happened in April and your other submissions that came in, or did you do a whole new submission process for just this shorts festival?
It's both. It's slightly curated and slightly submissions. We reached out to some that really stood out from the Dallas International Film Festival, and we also have a bunch of submissions we're going through. So it'll be a hybrid.
Yeah, that's cool. But that's a process to do sort of 2 submission periods per year. Like that's nonstop year-round work you're giving yourselves here.
Yeah, it's been a lot of watching, but Amber did a really cool thing by reaching back out to some of the filmmakers that we had worked with, and it's been a little easier, but it's been nonstop watching for sure. Not great for the significant others. Like, you still watching movies? Yeah, still watching movies. I watched like 3 shorts this morning, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're welcome. I'm working. I'm trying to get through those things.
So you haven't made the final selection yet for all the films?
No.
Yeah, you're like, no, not yet.
We've probably accepted maybe 20 of the probably 80 that we're going to accept. Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Partially
80 short films. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a full-on, robust amount of films, and it's international, and we're going to cover a lot of different genres and categories. So it's going to be quite the cornucopia of film.
Yeah. And how many shorts do you normally have during main DIFF in April?
Last year we set a record. What was the number?
It was close to 62, 65.
Okay.
Yeah. Was it 60? I thought it was closer to 90. Oh, well, if you count the high school shorts?
Yeah, if we count high school shorts, it's closer to like 80 or 90.
Yes, the high school shorts do count.
They totally count.
They totally count.
I count the ones that I...
Yes,
I guess.
He did high school this year.
Yeah. So 90 and then 80 for this, which is over 3 days. That's awesome. That's awesome. And the great thing about short films is short filmmakers travel. Like they will show up en masse for their short films.
That's what we're hoping. I mean, it's because it's really cool to show this many films and your crews, expand exponentially at this point. Like you have all these little films that have all these little crews as well, and so it's just boom, 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 and it means more people coming to see Dallas and maybe want to shoot their features here or just know that you can show cool things here.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know for Sunscreen and in another couple of months or a month and a half or so, something like that, we're going to do like just a 1 day like replay of stuff from the festival back in April, because it's just too much work to try and do a whole other thing. So I give you guys a lot of credit for taking this on, because that's a lot. So when do you open submissions then for the next one? Because Sunscreen, we've already opened submissions for next year.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, same. Yeah, like July 1. That's when
July 1. Yeah, we went open for DIFF 2025, which I do not recall the dates at this point. I should know this because I was just looking on the Film Freeway page just this morning, and it's I want to say it's April 28th through May. That doesn't make sense. No.
24th?
That sounds good.
24th to 25th to May 2nd.
25th to May 2nd.
There you go.
There
I had a good guess because you always overlap with Sunscreen every year. And
true.
We're 24th to 27th for those 4 days. So I knew you were probably in that same time frame.
Oh man, I can't believe it. Yeah. So right now there are concurrent submission periods open right now.
That's hard. So you have 2 different Film Freeway pages then, one for DIFF Shorts and then one for, okay. Ooh.
Yeah. And they're not friendly for that second page either. They were not kind.
No?
No. You don't get that buddy discount for that second page.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, nope, you're brand new.
I haven't set up a page in so long. We've had ours since the beginning for Film Freeway, so I haven't had to set up. I know we're talking inside baseball for those people listening, sort of festival world. What are the things that they make you do now for if you're setting up a new page?
It's a bigger percentage, right?
Yeah, they take 9% instead of 1%.
Wow, 9%.
9.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. It was like, ouch. Okay.
That's a lot.
It's a big chunk. You're like, okay, so that's happening, and then there's no buddy marketing or anything like that. You're on your own, so it's
really,
yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty steep, but we'll see how it goes, and then we'll maybe do more later. Mm-hmm. But for the first time through, I think this is where we are, and we're doing just fine. We're gonna have a good fest.
Sure, because it didn't make sense because you were doing this separately to run sort of 2 submission periods on your main page, like one for shorts, and it'd be confusing to filmmakers too, to be like, wait, when is this happening? What's going on here?
Yeah, it would be. I wouldn't know. I would be confused.
Yeah. I started to do that, and I was like, no, let's not.
Yeah. Do you use any of the other things out there like Fest Home or any of these other internet? Because a lot of these are European based. Other ones are European based, and I
did actually set up Fest Home for shorts.
Yeah.
And so we have a couple of submissions there, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
They reached out, and I said, I think I forwarded, should we be doing this? And then, so, okay.
Yeah, so I went ahead and did that. It's interesting. I'm not a big fan of their interface compared to Film Freeway. It's so much nicer.
Well, the whole reason Film Freeway exists in the first place is because Without a Box was awful. Yeah. And where is that now? Does anybody? It doesn't exist anymore.
It's in a drive on Jeff Bezos' yacht somewhere. Like, I bought it to kill it. No. Without a Box. Talk about inside baseball. I loved Without a Box for about a minute, and I hung on as long as I could. I was drinking that Kool-Aid until nope, it's making me sick. I can't do this. So.
Yeah, near the end there, we were doing Without a Box and Film Freeway at the same time. I think you kind of had to, right? Because you didn't want to give up the submissions you were getting on Without a Box.
Sure.
But then they just kind of, I remember you've been a part of DIFF since the very beginning.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. And so you're going to your 19th year?
Yeah, it'll be 19. Is it 18 or 19 this year?
I think it's 19.
It's 19. Yeah, it is 19. Yeah.
You're going to 19, we're going into 20. So we both started at the same time, basically. So I remember when you first started with Without a Box, I think they charged like $500 just to get started.
Yep.
Like you had to pay them just to be able to get listed. And then to use this, it was basically an MS-DOS interface. Like it was awful, like trying to use that thing. It was the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. But the connection, like I said, when it was just them, then they got bought by IMDb, then IMDb gets bought by Amazon. So you think things are going to get better, and they didn't.
No.
And a lot of people just took a big buyout and are retired, just hanging out, living on, again, Bezos money somewhere. So
yeah, it was weird because I remember when that whole thing first happened, because I was just starting. I'd only been film commissioner in St. Pete Clearwater for maybe a year or two there, and then the whole thing with Without a Box and running the festival as well. For some reason, they found me and thought I was interesting because I had perspective from like film commission side and a filmmaker side and that, and so they kept calling me, and I would spend like an hour on the phone with them telling what was wrong and all these things, and got to a point after they did this like for weeks, I'm like, you guys aren't paying me. I'm essentially consulting for you and telling you how you should fix your platform. I even met with IMDb in LA. Like they're like, hey, would you like to come by the office and sit down and talk? And like took me to lunch, and like 2-hour lunch. And he's taking notes, and I'm like, you're not paying me for this. What is happening here? And I said that to him, and then they stopped calling. But they didn't correct anything that.
That's very corporate of them.
Yeah, it was.
Very corporate.
It was ugly. So the programming that you guys have coming up, you've selected about 20 or so out of the 80 that you know that you're going to have. How are you breaking that up, like during the festival? Do you have thematic blocks, and we've got a comedy block. We've got to talk a little bit about sort of the structure of the event coming up.
So we have 14 blocks planned.
Awesome.
And we'll have a sports block for sure, a student block, a Latino block, and then we recently decided to split up late night into 2 separate blocks. So more of like a silly kind of gore, and then like the actual creepy kind of side late night, and that leaves about 8 themes that we're working on, but we haven't quite settled on.
That's fun.
Still have probably 200 some odd submissions to go through that we're looking for themes in.
Yeah. How many submissions have you gotten for the shorts?
I'm not sure. I think we're
little over 500.
Yeah, somewhere over there right now.
In Film Freeway at least.
Yeah.
And then we have the DIFF submissions that we're kind of curating through, and then
That's a lot. That's a lot for because this is the first time you've done DIFF Shorts.
Yeah. And we actually launched this, during DIFF.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like under the radar. Like, did we talk about this? And like, no, I guess we should talk about this because it's out there. And then you're right. So the festival's happening, and you're like, by the way, we got this other thing we're taking submissions for. Yep. That's exactly what, and it was, and some people were asking questions like, hey, does this count for both? Like, no, not particularly, but maybe, you don't know. It could be down the line.
Right, yeah, so, if we really like you and we really like your film.
Yeah, and Amber's right, the curation part's been kind of cool. So going after things that, that either we did play or didn't play, or something we wanted or something that we just couldn't have, and it's been kind of neat to, I'm not saying right wrongs per se, but at the same time, like add the stuff, because DIFF was so dense. Like there was so much good stuff that we just didn't have room for. We needed a whole nother screen or another venue. Like we just didn't have room for everything. And I mean, there's probably at least 10 features, maybe 5 to 10 features that we couldn't play that we would have. And a bunch of shorts that we just didn't have room for. So having this actually as an outlet is going to be a really good thing. It
gives an opportunity for some of those films that you wanted to play but just have space for, and to be able to play a few of those at the shorts. Yeah. That's good. That's good for filmmakers too.
Yeah, and one of the things that we wanted to do, which I guess you mentioned, music videos.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention. Yeah, we will have a whole music video block, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so you had a specific music video submission category on Film Freeway?
Yes, and we'll have an award for that as well. So,
very cool.
Yeah, trying to highlight that because that's something very prevalent, I think, locally.
Yeah. I discovered that in the last, I guess, couple of years, we've seen a lot of music videos coming through submissions. I'm like, we don't really have a music video. We're not South by. We don't have this category. And now we're like, well, here we go. This is, I guess, DIFF Shorts has given us an opportunity to do a lot of different things that we wouldn't be able to do or have time or space to do in the bulk of the regular festival.
Sure. And so obviously, the regular festival, you've got a lot going on. You've got the features and you've got premieres and you've got all the shorts and the workshops and then parties every night. So how is the shorts structured? It's a little more chill, a little more laid back, like it's not a big gala every night, or just little, are there any evening events after the films?
I'm trying really hard to make it filmmaker events after everything.
Yeah.
Like just very filmmaker-centric for networking, for just,
No, I think that's good.
Yeah, I mean, there will be some sort of happy hour thing or some sort of event party all 3 days.
Yeah.
There's going to be some sort of opening celebration. But yeah, to Amber's point, film centric is the way we want to go. Like to make it happy, like you said, short filmmakers travel, and if they are traveling, let's give them something to do, give them something to appeal and fun, and tell that story going home. Like I always bring up the kid from Crust, the German.
Love him. Yes, Jens George.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He was at what award did that win?
He won Best Student.
Yeah,
and so deserved.
Yeah, it's a 27-minute German student film.
Okay,
and this kid, I think he's maybe 19.
I don't even know.
Yeah, and
he's impressive though.
And he it was his first time.
I think it's his first time in Texas, at least.
Yeah, and he flew over here for most of the festival and was hanging out. Wanted to meet Dirk Nowitzki. I saw that on. I saw that on his Instagram. If you had just told me, we had that 20-minute conversation when you walked around taking pictures of everything, and I'm like, that could have happened. Dirk would have loved to see you, but
that's hilarious.
But yeah, so I think about that guy and how much fun he sort of had, and then no idea that he was going to win. He's just sitting in the award ceremony. I'm like, that kid's going to freak out.
Right.
And he was so just genuine. And so I kind of, we went to, move more with Amber's statement about this is a filmmaker's, to make them happy. And it's people like that I think about. It's like, Jens.
No, that's good. And it's a lot less pressure because when you're doing, and you've got to have those big parties, you have sponsors and the VIPs that have to be taken care of, and you've got to make sure that they're having that good experience. But if you're so filmmaker centric, it's like, hey, this is just a great event for the filmmakers to be able to come and hang out and network and meet each other and kind of do their thing. It's a lot less pressure from a festival perspective, I know.
Yeah, that's definitely the idea. I feel like short films has kind of changed where instead of being a proof of concept, they've turned more into like you make a short film so you can network and go to festivals and meet more people. So the idea is to like let those people meet each other and other people.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about festival is whether it's Sunscreen or DIFF or any other festival you go to, the people that go to the festival, they inevitably end up getting together and going and making films together because they met somebody at a festival. And so many things happen because of just those interactions that people have at an event.
Yeah, no, it'll be. It's not, I don't call it somebody says, is this an experiment? No, it's an experiment. We're throwing a party. We're throwing a film party.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. And I think it's going to go well.
Do you feel like, I know it hasn't even happened yet, but do you feel like based on the way it's been going so far that you'll do it again next year and this will be a multi-year thing you'll continue to do?
I would, I'll go on the record saying I would like to.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Like best laid plans, but we are. Yeah, I don't want it to be a one-off. If that's the case, I mean, I would like to figure it out whether it happens this time of year every year, or if there's something that gets pushed a little, or like mid-fall or something. I don't know, but we're doing it now, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I don't like doing a one-off.
No, and I get it, and I think it's important to do year-round events anyways because you want to stay relevant with the community because people forget about you if you're only once a year if you're not doing something because you do other things throughout the year as well. So you have to constantly have something to say. Hey, don't forget about us. We're here doing this. Hey, don't forget we're doing this. And then by the way, here's our big main thing that happens every year because if it's just like once a year and then nothing. It's hard to maintain that momentum going into the next year.
Yeah, my hope is, germane to your conversation the other night, I would like the Academy rules to be changed on how long you have to be a festival before you can be Oscar qualifying, because maybe we can get under that 5-year rule and go, hey, there's a whole shorts festival because we're going around the world. A lot of specific shorts festivals are Oscar qualifying. It's like, it's just shorts only. So, and not having an Oscar qualifying festival in an Oscar qualifying city is it ain't cool. It's just like got to figure that out. So.
Yeah, no, I mean it is a little random. I haven't looked at all the other cities, but like we talked about last night, and for those that are listening, last night we had a how to get your film Oscar qualified workshop. And talking about shorts and feature films, and so then that led into the conversation on Oscar qualifying festivals on what does it take for a film festival to be an Oscar qualifier, and it's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, Amber ran those hoops on the last one. I did the two before. It's like it's a lot.
So you've been applying every year for the last like several years.
We
skipped a year. I think we applied 4 times in the last 7 years.
Oh,
4 times in the last 7 years. Yeah. I mean, there was one time we just needed to take a break. It's like, okay, let's do what they're suggesting to kind of, if we can get here. And I mean, I hear like the Austin Film Festival, they tried 8 times before they got it.
Really?
And then South by, I think maybe did 3 times because it's South by.
Yeah, it's South by, of course.
Yeah, but you know, people struggle. I mean, it's weird. I mean, there's a lot of festivals that are, and they're just going through the motions, I guess.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Think about it. You know, Film Freeway says that they have 12,000 film festivals on their platform around the world. So if there's 12,000 around the world, I don't know, in the U.S., there's at least 6,000 of those are in the U.S. probably. Like there's just unlimited number of film festivals on every town, every weekend, every corner. It's like impossible to keep track of and cut through the clutter. How do you find it is for, say, you know, the main festival and then now Shorts? How do you think you cut through that clutter of all the other festivals for people to find DIFF and submit their film to you guys?
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Or do you? Is there any clutter cutting, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, I don't know. We're not being an Oscar qualifying festival that puts us at a big fest disadvantage at times. Yeah. But then again, being in a major market puts us in another, like playing cities, like people around the world, like, oh, Dallas, that's a big city I know. Atlanta, that's a big city I know, which, things like that. So that sort of helps. But I mean, quite frankly, I think it's just having been around as long as we have as a point, and then having built a filmmaker database, not so much a database internally, but a database organically where people go, oh, I was at DIFF back in 2015, or I was 13, I met these people here. And then Amber started with us as an intern back like 2017, 2017, yeah. And has created a market for short films and other things that rent all these people. So I guess for us, it's a business of people, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. You know, that's a lot of, I think for Sunscreen, something that has maybe hurt us a little bit as far as exposure goes is the name, because we didn't name it after the city we're in. You know, if we would have called it the St. Petersburg, Florida Film Festival, then, people would say, oh, St. Pete, Florida, and then what it is. But Sunscreen Film Festival is just kind of like a what is that kind of thing? But, going into your 20th year, you establish a brand at a certain point. There's no point in changing that at this point. But it is one of those things that you get filmmakers, but like, hey, I had a film in the festival in 2015. I've got a new one. Can you give me a fee waiver or a discount to submit for this next one or whatever it might be? So yeah, those building up that database of filmmakers that you've had at the festival over the years is a big help.
That's a good, the naming of the city thing. It's a really big.
I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, Fort Worth. I think about that. It's called Lone Star. Yeah, and I think more traction could be achieved if it was called the Fort Worth Film Festival. Yeah. Negative or positive, whatever, you live with your city, whatever it is. But but you recognize a city name. I mean, the original name. This is fun. The original name of our festival, which was AFI Dallas. Originally, it was going to be the Victory, because Victory Park was our founding sponsor, right? And they were going to call it Victory. And somebody stood up in some meeting at some ad agency and said, "No, that's too much pressure to be victorious all the time." I go, "That's a good idea," but I don't think they were thinking about not calling it Dallas in the title. And then AFI went out with AFI Dallas, because it literally, I think I have somewhere, I have the markings, the original designs for the Victory International Film Festival. Oh, wow. No, Dallas is much better. Much better than Victory. Whoever that was. Yeah. And because that does make a huge difference, because I know, for example, Key West Film Festival, love those guys there. And, they get a lot of submissions because it's the Key West Film Festival. It's got the name Key West in the name. Who doesn't want to go to Key West for your film festival? Great place. Fun. Yeah, I think that makes a difference. Now, if you're, I don't know, pick a city nobody likes, and I'm not going to name any, because then I'll get abuse on. I'll do one. We can do the Ann Arbor. No, Ann Arbor's nice. That's like Ann Arbor's fine. That's like Michigan. I don't know. That's okay.
Well, that festival's been around like 70 years now, or something ridiculous like that. Like, it's a long time.
They're college town. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and Cleveland International, they've been around like similarly 70 years or something insane like that.
Yeah, that's that's a well-run festival.
Yeah, that's a big one. You wouldn't think like Cleveland has, but they have a great film festival up there.
It's one of those things where like why LA struggles and places like that because there's frankly so much more to do.
Yeah,
like New York, I think they live because it's New York and there's 9 million people and they're not having to drive anywhere. Like I can get there pretty quickly, and it's what you do in New York, but Cleveland, I mean, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The Browns.
Done.
The Browns.
So they do really well. They just built their own theaters too recently too, so that helps.
That goes a long way. Yeah, when you don't have to pay for theater rentals and you own your own.
No, thank you.
Are you kidding me? We're going to run our own theaters.
Now you have to program them year round.
No.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, just when it gets built, you'll be like, hey. Right.
Don't cry.
I don't know. There's a lot of construction happening in Dallas. Everywhere I drive around, there's something being built.
Yeah, secret theaters everywhere. Just get ready.
Yeah. So what besides the shorts coming up, you have other events that you do throughout the year. What else do you have coming up that's coming along the pipeline?
Well, we got something coming up this weekend, so we don't talk about that. Because
this episode won't be out until after this weekend. Yeah.
I don't know. We have a lot of word of mouth screenings that we're going to be doing over the. I mean, we've got some which works with the Film Society part of things where we do help studios show things. So we've got something come up I think next week, and then August 7th we have another word of mouth screening of my penguin friend, the John Renault movie. It's based on a true story about a man and a penguin. Sounds awful, but also funny.
Everybody likes penguins. They're cute.
It's actually really cute. And I was telling Amber when I was watching, I'm crying in the first 15 minutes. This is messed up.
As long as the penguin doesn't die in the end. Huh? Okay, we won't give anything away because can't do it.
No, don't. It's not good. But yeah, that's pretty much. And then we have we're going to start our inside film events, which we either bring out filmmakers or film professionals, and we have a conversation with them also, and we record it for a podcast, and we do a little in screen. So we'll bring out a director who's won an Oscar in animation or something, and then talk about that, or bring out some distributors and say, hey, this is the next thing. It's part of it. It's a half. It's a student program that we do with high school kids, and now we're trying to move it into some college kids to also join, and just general public. Hey, if you want to learn about film marketing, you didn't know about it, or you want to hear how I made my feature film and got it into whatever. So all this is what it's a monthly series. We do that along with our monthly happy hours we do, which we have one tonight, and it's been for such a small staff. I always went we do a lot of stuff year round. That is, you kind of have to.
You do. Yeah.
People need to know, that we're here and we're doing things, and we're a source for you to, have a conversation with or point. When people ask me questions, I go, ask the film commission. I don't do that.
Yeah. So no, I get that.
I get that a lot.
That's where all my emails are coming from.
Yes, you're welcome.
But my emails have dried up in the last week or so here since
the announcement.
Since the announcement that I'll be gone at the end of the month, but gone, but not gone. I will still be involved in Dallas, just not at the film commission.
I'll tell you what's really cool, if you do a real big film party at a studio in town that might have a big LED screen in there. I'm just saying that'd be really cool.
It's already in the planning stages. Okay. Once that thing is done, once Southside is done, we want to have a big, trying to decide if that'll happen sort of December timeframe, or if we should just wait till January and do it in January, because it would be cool. I mean, it could be, people always have things going on during the holidays, but if we just had basically one giant open house party sometime in December, I mean, we'd get 1,000 people to show up for that thing. I'm sure. I
think you would. I think, especially down there, and that place is big, and I can't wait for it to be done.
Me too. I'm excited. We're going to go, Austin and I are going to go take a look at it next week, because I just haven't seen it since they started construction in April. And so, because I didn't want to go and pop in every week and be like, is it done yet? Kind of thing. I was like, I know what it looked like before. Let's see what it looks like after you've been working on it for several months, and, kind of see how that's going. But do you, on that topic a little bit, I'm sure you get the kind of random emails that we get at the Film Commission as well of, hey, will you take a look at the script and help me get my film made. Because people sometimes don't understand what a festival does or what a film commission does versus whatever else. How do you navigate that? Because you do, these other sort of networking events and things. How do you navigate that? Do you direct people to your other events to meet people? Like, what's your approach for that? Talk to the film commission.
Ignore the email.
It depends on what it is. I mean, we do get a ton of sort of these sort of phishing emails like, hey, I just have this screenplay and I did this thing, and there's this treatment is sitting in front of you and a link to the trailer and all these things. And again, a lot of times it's just I'm ignoring that because it has nothing to do with what we do. Other times I will direct somebody to the film commission. Yeah. Unfortunately, sorry.
Hey, that's our job, and then we kind of figure out where we can funnel them as well. Yeah. Which again is the reason we've done 16 of these workshops over the last year and a half or so, because people just don't know. And I get it. People are starting out in the industry, or they just have no idea what to do, and so that's why you have educational workshops to kind of hopefully coach people through and teach them, what to do.
Yeah, and when these emails come in from international sources or outside, and it's like, I don't need to read your 212-page screenplay about some conspiracy theory on an island, and then you send me the DVD and the screenplay because you don't trust the internet. So it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. I'm always impressed with sort of the chutzpah.
There's a massive amount of that out there. People, and I mentioned this on the prior podcast that we just recorded before we were doing this one, is as soon as I announced the job change, the volume of screenplays, pitch decks, and things started flooding my LinkedIn inbox from people I'd never met in my entire life. Right. Like, hey, will you make my movie for me? I'm like, I don't even know you. I've never met you before in my entire life.
You're officially becoming above the line, so you're going to get this, man.
I got a lot already as it was. I already did get a lot of it, and so now it's like it's even more. It's a little crazy, and you feel bad because I remember first starting in the industry. You don't know what to do. Like, how do I make things happen? How do I figure this out? But I think that's part of it is you, whoever you are, you have to figure it out. You have to find your way, and every path is different on whatever your goal is.
Yeah, and we want to help as many filmmakers as possible. Back to Amber, we're talking about being a filmmakers festival, and especially when you get the deluge of Iranian cinema that reaches out to us. And
I was just going to ask you about that because I get with the same thing.
Yeah. It always sort of reads the same. Like, hi, I cannot afford Iran, Turkey, and I'm thinking there's one other country that has restrictions that they can't do anything. And it's like they're copying and pasting the email, and it's when I get kind of like, if this looks like the other four, that's a no. Yeah. I mean, Amber's much kinder than I am.
We give out a lot of waivers.
Do you? Well, and
if you ask, okay.
Well, and for the audience that's listening, when you're a film festival, you get a lot of emails from filmmakers around the world who will say that, hey, we've put all our money into making this film and we can't afford film submission fees. Do you offer a discount or a waiver? Yeah. Case by case basis, we will read those, take a look at them, sometimes offer a discount or a waiver depending on what the story is. They might be lying, they might be telling the truth. We have no way of knowing. But there's a huge volume of emails from Iran for people saying, due to economic restrictions, we can't pay the fees with a credit card on Film Freeway or whatever it is. Will you give us a fee waiver to submit? And it's become such a huge volume within the industry that, like you had mentioned, I just delete all of them.
Yeah, because you don't know if it could again another type of phishing. I'm thinking, is this going to corrupt my computer because it's been the same? It just looks the same, Amber. They look a lot the same to me.
They do, and I create a special waiver for them, and it's just like, what is it going to hurt for me to let them submit with my waiver code? Like, it doesn't hurt.
No,
So I just send it.
You're right. It doesn't.
As long as I'm not clicking any of the links in the email, I'll just send out a thing like, use this waiver, and I'll watch it if it's in the system.
It's hard because there are so many. It's every day.
Yeah,
every day.
And it's multiple emails every day. And so if you get so many of those, there's only so many films you can watch too. So you can bog down your screeners with free films that have been submitted from Iran that can they even get you the files needed for a DCP to be able to screen at the festival in a lot of cases. And so because it's so much volume, our policy is we just ignore and delete, unfortunately. There are probably some films in there that are good and probably some real people, but I have a fear of fake and phishing and spam and country that funds terrorism doing. I don't want to, I don't want to open up Pandora's box with something, unfortunately. So you're very kind. You're much kinder than we are.
I'm on the other end of if there is just that one person in there that is genuine, I can't say no. So I will sort through them. I'll look through their whole submission page if it seems sketchy, there's that. But if their film's actually good, I'll go through the efforts of dealing with their DCP issues or whatever it is.
Well, it's a good thing you have her, James.
I know.
I watch every short film. I will have eyes on every short film that submits. So I'm very...
It's a lot, and I'm like, what's up? It goes, I have 300 short films left. I'm like, I have 22 features. You win.
Features are difficult though. There's that lull in the middle. At least short films are, for the most part, to the point.
Features are hard. I know on our screening team, I don't do a massive volume of watching because I'm trying to help run the rest of the festival as well and everything. But I try and focus on the features myself because I know in our screening team, everybody wants to watch the shorts first.
And the shortest shorts. They're sort by shortest. Let me watch the 1 minute.
Yeah. Are you assigning shorts to people or assigning films to people, or are you kind of a little bit of an open free-for-all for your screeners to watch what they want and what appeals to them?
Both.
For this, both. Yeah. This is both. We have Amber has a really great team of interns that we share things with. And so they're doing a lot of heavy lifting in the shorts world. And for DIFF Shorts, I'm just diving in whenever I see something, and some of our international programmer, Alex Garcia-Topete, is doing sort of the same thing. But for DIFF, we assign a lot during DIFF. We have 17, 20 people on that list, and we're just and then some other people we've had screeners for a long time and go, you're just doing shorts, just go in there and find whatever you find, and then just keep reviewing things. You've been doing this for 6 years, you got this, right? Oh, I got it. Cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what we do. We have a handful of people that have been around a long time. We kind of just let them watch what they want. And then everybody else, what we started doing this past year, and we'll do it this year again as well, is here are your 10 films. You watch these 10. When you're done with that, let us know. We'll give you another 10 to watch. And we give them 1 feature and 9 shorts. And so we know that everybody's watching at least 1 feacher, and you don't get any more films to watch until you watch that 1 feature, because it ends up being everybody watches all the shorts, and you've got a whole bunch of features that you got to squeeze in and watch. So it was a pretty effective strategy for this past year.
That's pretty smart. It's funny. I will always go to the feature first because I don't know. I just go right to give me a really stupid coming of age story that's been done 12 times, and it's the same. I'm gonna watch this all the way. I don't care if it takes place in Wyoming in a bubble. It just makes sense. That's mine.
What is what do you think is the story theme that you've seen the most as a screener? First as a shorts program, and then as a feature. You mentioned a coming of age story. It's every year multiple coming of age stories, but from a shorts perspective, do you feel like there's something you've seen more than anything else?
So this past round, we had a whole joke even with my interns of swimming pool trauma.
Okay.
There were a significant amount of weird traumas in swimming pools. We could have made 3 or 4 blocks out of just shorts with swimming pool trauma. Other than that, I feel like black and white has been making a resurgence, which is really nice.
Yeah,
if you do it right.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I can't think of a theme other than that. Because I think I kept sitting on Slack and go, I got another black and white film. Tell Hutch to look at this. I got another black and white film. They're like, this is... Why is there so much black and white film? And then when you'd see it,
but it's not right.
It's not right. It's not right.
Yeah.
You can't just turn on black and white setting at the end. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, a lot of people, we're all doing noir. We're all doing noir. It didn't have to be black and white to be noir, man. So I'd say that would be the thing that I noticed the most this past year were a bunch of black and white films. Just for no reason. Did we play any black and white films?
Did we play a black and white short? Oh yeah, that one was phenomenal though. He did it right. Yeah.
Okay.
God, what was it called? Something about bullets? Where the bullets go.
Oh yeah, that
Very
was good. That was
Very
a good short. It was dark.
Yeah.
In all the ways.
And he dealt with like childhood trauma in it. Of course, everything's traumatic.
Yes.
Can't not.
Yeah. What filmmaker's not making something about their trauma? Basically.
Yeah.
This is a comedy. It's a dramedy.
Yeah. No, there's no comedies. That's something too. Like
That's the thing.
lack of comedy.
Really?
Hard.
Indie comedy is tough. I mean,
It is hard to do.
And you just don't. Yeah, I think we had in the entire diff. I think maybe
One?
maybe one true comedy in the entire festival. It's just
That's interesting.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I think it's because when you're an independent filmmaker, you don't, for some reason, comedy is not like the genre that pops into your mind. It's like, I need to go make me an independent comedy film and see what happens with this. It's horror. It's some sort of dramatic, thing that they're trying to come over. And comedy's hard.
Yes,
so I
is.
think that might be part of it too. Is not that creating a dramatic story about something horrible that happened or a relationship between a few people isn't easy, but I think it's easier than doing comedy, making a comedy that's actually funny.
Yeah. Weirdly, as a programmer too, I feel like that might be slightly our fault because, like, I watch a comedy and I'm like, oh, but what are they saying? Like, whose voice am I representing here? So, like, I did one that was about OCD, which was great because it was hilarious, but she also dealt with something else, and it's a pure comedy. I feel like, how do I nick someone else's voice for that?
Not a dark comedy, but just a comedy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe that's our fault.
Yeah, it might be. I'm trying to think of the only. I think the only comedy was that Anne Hathaway thing we had.
But even then, that was dealing with like middle-age trauma and like trying to deal with the divorce and all of that. That was
that wasn't a pure comedy.
No, not even close.
No one's slapping down. I mean, there's no.
We're not having Step Brothers in here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not a. Yeah, it's not a Fairley Brothers film. There's nothing that are just pure. Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. We usually get at least a couple of comedies submitted every year. Yeah, and then try and have one if it's good.
If it's good,
but it's hard.
That's the thing, because you're right. Comedy can be there's some comedies are submitted.
Yeah,
sometimes they're just bad.
If they're not funny, then
it's like
that's the worst thing you could do is play an unfunny comedy.
The worst thing you could do is when you're watching a comedy and go, oh, I see what they're going for, and you're not laughing. Yeah. You're not even thinking it's funny. Like, oh, that's supposed to be funny. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, one of the types of films that I know I've seen a lot over the years that now when it comes in, I'm like, God, not another one of these, is sort of the early 30s guy who hasn't grown up yet, trying to, with the friend who's the clown, the buddy comedy guy. And those are comedies that we get a lot of. We get one every single year. And they're, the guy was a womanizer and now he wants to have the relationship. And it's a story that is told poorly every time, and you've seen it year after year after year after year. And when you've seen it for 20 years, when you see that same thing, and you're like, oh man, you don't even know. You made this and you had no idea that you're making something that everybody else has already made.
Yeah. It's in the zeitgeist. Yeah. They're not realizing, like, oh, wait, this is out there. Yeah.
And I think generationally, it's like Clerks was like obviously a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that was great for the time period that was. And maybe people don't realize that they're trying to make a new version of Clerks, but it doesn't need to be made a new version of Clerks every year.
Just in a new humor.
I don't know. And it's always when you're watching it, that their friends and family, they're like, this is the funniest thing we've ever seen in their life. Because there's a lot of friends and family in the films. We sound like we're slamming filmmakers, but we're really not.
Not at all. Not at all. But
it's one of those things. Don't make one of those, because there's a lot of those that get submitted to festivals, and they're very hard to.
And your friends and family screening is not always the best thing. Like there was a formula, effort does not equal quality. So just because you worked on something for 2 or 3 years and your mom liked it, it doesn't mean, I mean, unless your mom is Kathleen Kennedy, but even then the accolade sucks. So
I was just going to say, oh, no.
No, not doing that either.
Yeah.
No Star Wars slamming today. No. Yeah, but yeah, it's... Yeah, and I now I'm going to get back to comedies. Now I'm going to actually
look for a comedy.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I mean, I hadn't seen any. Well, there's been a couple of short comedies that I've watched that are.
I feel like I could poke holes in that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
No, and then one is I see how it's supposed to be funny, but
we always have a short comedy block, and the short comedy block is always one of the most well attended blocks of the entire festival because we'll generally get enough shorts to have a short comedy block. Yeah. It's the feature comedies that are really tough. And for all the filmmakers and the people out there listening about me slamming comedy, my very first feature film that I made and directed was a comedy, and it was terrible. So I can speak from experience and say I made a very bad feature comedy that we submitted to film festivals that should not have. And so I would take that and I accept full responsibility.
Well, that's mighty adult of you. Because that's good owner. I wish more people had that attitude. Like,
and no one will ever see this movie.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
Well, now we have to do screening.
You're not going to find it.
Can we get somebody to hack his computer?
You're not going to find it.
I need to see it.
Austin's probably seen it already. So.
No. I still have a DVD.
All right.
Oh.
I have a DVD back.
Is it like in a vault somewhere?
Yeah.
Like,
it's on a shelf. It's just on a shelf in Florida. And I thought that, and it's actually 20 years ago this year. It's 2004.
Oh, wow.
That we made it.
It's a feature comedy.
Feature comedy called, I'll even tell you the title because you can find it on my IMDb page. It's called Mandatory Overtime. And it is a group of people all working in an office, but still act like they're in high school in the 1980s.
That sounds great.
The premise is good.
It actually, and I will say, it actually is funny. Like, it's genuinely funny. It's just poorly shot and poorly edited. And from a technical perspective, like, not very good.
Yeah, but those can work sometimes.
Yeah,
like.
those end up being really good midnight movies that people go see and like eat popcorn and
I don't know.
I
think I'm just scared. I'm scared at this point in my career to let anybody see it.
You got to put it out there. I did my short film when I went to film school at SMU. The short film that I directed and wrote ended up having to star in, which is I do not take the Spike Lee world. It's terrible and it's a comedy too. But I used to, and if you actually burned it for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You turned it in.
Anytime.
And it's absolutely. I used to like make the interns watch it. Like here, like those who can't teach because this is it right here.
Right.
And so
it's great.
It's not.
It's great.
It's absolutely terrible. I won an award for that terrible thing. I think they just felt guilty.
No, like, it's fun.
Somebody probably has a copy of this film somewhere that I mentioned, but
we should get it
because probably 2006 or something like that. We were actually selling it on Amazon.
Oh my God!
It was on Amazon. You could actually buy it.
Challenge accepted. If it's out there,
and people were buying it. We sold some of those.
I'm really good at finding things.
I put down a challenge. I put down a challenge for you. Then
I will do a double feature with my terrible film with your terrible film, and I bet yours wins.
Closing night with DIFF Shorts.
Yeah. As the less terrible film, yours will win.
If you can find it. If you can find it without me giving it to you, I will rent the upstairs of the Texas Theater and we'll do a terrible film night and show James and my bad films.
Challenge.
I'm on. That'll be that. We can make a fundraiser.
Right.
these poor lost souls.
Oh man!
Thank God they've moved on to other things in their career.
I think SMU disowned me for that film. Like, you used every place on campus for this. I did, and I did lots of bad things on your campus.
So let's circle back to DIFF. How about what are the dates of DIFF Shorts again?
23rd through 25th.
August 23rd through 25th.
August 23rd to the 25th, 2024.
Yes.
And so, Austin, when is this episode going to come out? July 30th.
Cool.
So you'll have almost a month beforehand if you hear this.
Yeah.
And where can people buy tickets?
DallasFilm.org? Is that no?
Yes. At that point, yeah.
Dallas
I will go home
film.org.
tonight and make that happen.
Yeah. And if you just Google Dallas International Film Festival, you'll be able to find the website. And
you can buy passes. Passes are on sale right now.
Social media, passes, all that other fun stuff.
Submissions will be closed.
Yes.
Yeah, don't submit your film, but you can come watch some of these awesome short films, around 80.
And network with filmmakers.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like a very cool.
Get your next movie made somehow.
Very cool weekend.
Meet the new film commissioner, or maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think we're going through the process, and I think around the beginning of August, that person should have their job offer. And realistically, I don't think they start until October 1.
Okay.
It just makes sense, because even if you get hired in August, wherever, if you're local, it makes it easier. But if you're somewhere out of town, there's a whole moving and getting started. And October 1 starts the new fiscal year for Visit Dallas anyways. And so it probably makes the most sense to have that person start at the beginning of a fiscal. So, and I think we'll probably do some sort of event when that new person gets hired, where we'll do like another workshop thing, and I'll come and we'll have the new person, and we'll, like, I don't know, hand off the keys or something, kind of thing.
Cute.
Since I'll still be around anyways.
Hand off the slate? I don't know. Something more. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing is, because again, part of my job is going to be making sure Southside Studios is busy. I have to work hand in hand with whoever the new film commissioner is, because the studios will be the biggest selling point for bringing big projects of the year. You have to have sound stages. So I was excited about it as something to try and sell as a film commissioner, and now I've flipped to the other side. So either way,
sell my stuff. I know what your job does.
Either way, my job is to promote Dallas moving forward here. So, well, thank you guys so much for coming in, hopping on the podcast.
Thanks for having us. No, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I love these microphones.
Yeah.
And I don't have a tagline to end this podcast. I keep saying I need to come up with one. So just how about click to the next one and listen to that, and follow us on all the socials and all that other fun stuff. Thanks everyone for listening.